Coming up on this episode of the Village Idiom.
I was doing some Christmas shopping stuff and I was searching on Amazon for lighters, but all they had was 6,000 matches.
I didn't even get it at first.
And I'm like, I just want a lighter, right? And so
Village Idiom.
Hello and welcome to the Village Idiom.
We are a podcast that every single week we choose a popular saying and we take an admittedly shallow, hopefully comedic, once in a while interesting, if we're lucky, educational dive into its usage, its origins, its history, its meaning, its
all of the things.
But mostly we use it to hang our otherwise directionless conversation on. My name is Jurassic Mark.
And I am Skinny. Fantastic winter wonderland today.
I woke up to whiteness.
It's great.
I wake up to whiteness every day.
Well, it's different than looking in the mirror. When you look out a window, it's nice.
Yeah, it was great. Did you see it falling? Like it was falling.
It was great.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. And then this morning, it was like, it stopped and roads were cleared. And it's just like all the benefits of the snowy.
So the real benefit is yesterday morning before it snowed, I went and bought a snow blower.
What?
I know. I feel like...
Are you rich?
I'm a rich man. No, bought it for work.
Okay.
Where there's a,
even better.
I don't know, 20 car, if that, parking lot.
Yeah.
And I was just like, no. It's always just me.
Not today, Satan.
Nobody else is jumping into not today. And so I went and bought one and went into the Home Depot, the Home Depot. And it's loud, right?
It's a little bit, but that's okay.
Yeah? Is that... I feel bad.
That's good.
I did the settings. You're taking the headphones off because I'm too loud. Is it
Finish
me?
your story.
Is
it's
it
a good
me?
one.
1 and
Is it
3.
I?
1 and 3 on that little box.
Okay.
Put them up. Put them at 12 o'clock.
Continue.
All right. So anyway, I went in there and they're like, "Oh, that might be a little too far down. A little at 1 o'clock, maybe 1 o'clock. There we go. Yeah, that's good." I went in there and they told me they had 40 snow blowers left that morning. This was at 11:30 a.m. There was one left. I got the final. No choice in brands or do you want gas, electric, or battery powered? No choices.
Battery powered?
I got a battery powered one.
Oh, it sounds so environmental and sounds like it might die.
It lasted 25 minutes. After charging that battery all day yesterday, it lasted 25 minutes this morning. Under pretty heavy, and there's an eco mode that doesn't blow it as far.
Oh, lame.
So
Eco mode.
No, I'm like, anyway, bought a second battery. Looking forward to finishing it off.
Is there like spend this whole battery in 10-minute mode? just shooting it?
It's just soaring. I'm making it snow.
Right.
Yeah. So anyway, Winter Wonderland. But that was my fun.
That sounds actually really fun.
And then the battery died, and I went over to the in-laws' house and used a regular old snow shovel to.
That doesn't sound as fun.
Clear the driveway and whatnot.
I got up and my wife had already done the shoveling.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I know.
Lucky.
Yay. Husband of the Year award.
Do you have any immediate response to that? Do you wake up to that? Do you have what's your go-to?
Thank you.
Oh, yeah. That's a pretty good.
It's pretty. It's kind of lame.
I think you could describe that.
We got a house full of children. I'm thinking that, it's like, hey, get the boy up early.
Yeah, he was.
Get him out there.
He was at my son's house all night.
Oh, I got another boy.
Oh, right.
Yeah. So my oldest was not shoveling for you.
No.
Oh well,
no.
That's okay.
I didn't even see them today.
Chivalry's dead, isn't it?
Chivalry.
Chivalry's
dead. No, I was curious your immediate response to seeing that because of today's idiom. I think Kevin James says it best.
It was a knee-jerk reaction.
It's a knee-jerk reaction.
Absolutely.
You wake up to the snow, you're like, See, is your immediate reaction to snow excitement or oh no?
Oh, normally it's like the anticipation of something. It's like when I was doing some Christmas shopping stuff and I was searching on Amazon for lighters, but all they had was 6,000 matches.
I didn't even get it at first.
And I'm like, I just want a lighter, right? And so there's the anticipation of something, and so I guess the reaction is based off of the anticipation.
Did you make that up? Did you find it? Do you make any of them? I'm so impressed every time because I'm like retooling the joke. Because if you're like, I was looking for this very specific lighter, and it's like, there are no matches. I don't want matches.
Well, there you go. You're reworking it,
just
making it better.
To see what
Use that one at the water cooler today, illegitimate children.
So I wake up and I was just talking to the neighbor today, and I said, I think we live in a place where we get such a mild winter that I'm still excited when it snows. Mm-hmm. I'm not disappointed. I'm not worried about it. I'm gonna shovel for one day, whatever. We're not living in winter wonderland in general. Some years we don't even see a flake.
Yeah, we see lots of flakes, but no snow.
Live in the land of flakes.
I think it's
land o' flakes.
That knee-jerk reaction is based on anticipation. Yeah,
but if you didn't know it was going to snow and you wake up to white,
your knee-jerk reaction is, "Yay!"
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, and then the reality, how am I going to get the car out?
Oh, I love snow. I was I said to my daughter last night, I'm like, snow day tomorrow, and
you've got like a Jeep, so you
her older brother is like, "Is it a snow day?" I'm like, "I don't know. I'm calling it. Like, it's a snow day. We're not."
Yeah, there's enough for here.
School.
Yeah, I guess
it was a snow day.
If you live in like Wisconsin or something, it's just another Tuesday. But
right. Well, I think the difference is the first snow. Like, if we got snow every day, you kind of adapt.
It stops being fun.
It stops being fun, but also like a snow day is about what happens in between bedtime and waking up. That's why there's snow days. Because you can't deal with it quick enough to get school buses and parents to the school.
It has to come back to that kind of anticipation of what you think is going to happen versus what really happens. Your knee-jerk reaction to like the big snowfall is, I think it's got to be, if you have any cheer in your soul whatsoever, it's got to be, yay!
I mean, every Christmas movie, they add the snow to make the moment more romantic or more Christmassy.
My boss,
they never start the snow for people to go, "Oh, it was such a nice moment until it started to snow."
Have you seen Misery? When Kathy Bates,
it's one of my favorite Christmas movies.
It's a Christmas movie. Is breaking your ankle with a sledgehammer. That's not fun in the snow anymore.
That's the scene, isn't it?
My boss.
That's a knee-jerk reaction.
But when it snows, because he's responsible for this 3 acres of parking lot.
Who's this? Sorry,
my boss.
Oh yeah.
And so when he goes, I just see the snow falling. All I see is $500.
Oh, right.
Like, just snow removal company's got to come and beep, beep, beep.
Yeah.
And deal with that nightmare. So it's not quite as fun.
Well, enough $500 snowfalls. You might as well go buy a Bobcat.
Just go get a blower.
Or a blower. You got 20 minutes.
See what you can get done.
Yeah. I'm so happy with this little machine. It's like a lawnmower. I've never used one before.
It's
so simple.
Awesome. And so you got a place to store this beast?
Kind of.
Just details.
There's a warehouse in the back of the...
Just use it for the season and then put it in the thrift store. See what you get for it.
Exactly. Buy another one next year.
Storage solved.
Yeah, so knee-jerk reaction, we all have them. If we didn't say, I think we made it obvious that to have a knee-jerk reaction is to have an immediate, without thinking... this was the definition I got. I thought, wow, this is the idiom. A knee-jerk reaction means that you respond to something in an equally unthinking way.
Okay, so this is an interesting one, and
what do you think about that though? Equally, I don't know why, unthinking way.
Yeah, it's like uncontrolled, involuntary response.
Yeah,
like and so so this is I don't know, maybe a little more political or whatever, but when all the stuff went down with like the NFL and Colin Kaepernick stuff when he took a knee, and then
the knee-jerk reaction,
to taking a knee, and just visceral. It's like, you hate this country,
and the people who called him a knee jerk,
just the jerk part, and it's just differing reactions. It's like, my brother, died in the war. You will stand up, and other people, it's like, no, you're missing the point of what it's about. I think the interesting knee-jerk reaction is thinking that he was the first to take a knee, because that would be Tanya Harding, who was the first to take a knee in sports.
She was a knee jerk as well.
Yeah, that story doesn't get talked about anywhere near as much.
That's funny.
First to take a knee, Tanya Harding.
So speaking
with a pipe, it's like playing Clue. It was Tanya Harding with the pipe in the back of the back parking lot. So speaking of knee jerk and the ability to have one or not, I was in Hawaii 2 weekends ago. You just have awesome life.
Super quick
Oh yeah, just a little jet set to
super
Hawaii.
short trip.
Oh yeah,
Thursday, fly home Monday, and
me and the Village Idiom children. Guess where we were?
Okay, you're gonna wish
Here.
you weren't mocking when I tell you this story. So I was going there to the guy who has my job in the United States. We were joining forces, but it was mostly so I could hear his presentation.
Okay.
And so I went there to the day before I flew there. I get a text from his family. He turned it into a vacation. He had already been there a week, was staying another week with his whole family. And I get a
That
text.
sounds like a great idea.
Yeah, get a text from his wife saying Chris has been in an accident. And
Oh no!
And so in the water with his boys, wave takes him, crashes him into the sand. Have I told you any of this?
No.
And paralyzed from the neck down. And
I hope you're messing with me.
I'm not messing with you.
No.
So this is the text I get from the day before I leave. So I'm like, what in the world? So there's some backstory to that where he's like, we can maybe do the presentation together, prepare some material, which I did, which ended up being the best thing because I was no longer observing his presentation. I did his presentation because he was flown to a different Hawaiian island for surgery. Screws down his spine.
What?
And I had to get there.
This is crazy.
I had to bomb his family around, take care of them, then get them to the airport to fly to where he is. Never saw him the whole time. And so
a wave got him.
Yeah, whatever he was doing, body surfing.
And it flipped him around, cracked his neck.
Yep, head and spine injury. And so
in the water when that happens.
To be fair, his so he came out, he was floating face down like TV show, dragged out by a lifeguard, and he was conscious, and he's like, the best way to explain it is, his only words were, "I'm paralyzed," and he just limp. And he told me on the phone, he's like, the best way to explain this is, it didn't look like I was looking at, like, it felt like my body was detached. Yeah. It didn't look like my body.
Yes.
And so fast forward, same day movement in legs and arms.
Okay.
So he is expected to have a full recovery.
That's amazing.
But even now, which is 2 weeks, he has a hard time manipulating his fingers. So he's down to just 10 digits, thank goodness.
Wow.
But yeah, he's in bad shape. And just like when he came out of the water.
No knee-jerk reaction.
Oh, yeah, you beat me to the punch.
Oh, so we're just going.
But, I mean, that's punchline now. It wasn't funny. Like, it was a real scenario, but there was no knee-jerk reaction. He was paralyzed temporarily for, I don't know how many minutes or hours.
Wow. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and not in, because that story with my brother-in-law, when he dove in when we were in Mexico, broke his neck. And that's how he described it as well. Like, his brain telling his body, like, swim up. My arms aren't moving. Like, you can see it. Like, they're not responding to me.
Right.
Just detached. That's crazy.
So, yeah, wow. The brain, spine, it's all scary stuff.
Wow. Well, wish him well.
Yeah. So he is expected to make full recovery. He's in great spirits. But he'll be in some rehabilitation situation for some time.
I guess, like, now that did they upgrade your room or anything? Because they had more space, or is it still too soon?
I had my own Airbnb away from him. I wasn't bunking with him and his family.
Okay, well, you never know. After that, you got the big room.
So, aside from all that,
the
knee-jerk reaction to, hey, can you come to Hawaii? Was like, yes,
I can.
Oh, I'm there.
Yeah,
I love the big island of Hawaii.
My work doesn't have quite like that. It's more like, hey, we got, like, every second year we go to Tacoma or something. But
it's pretty unusual. I'll probably never get that opportunity again because.
Oh no, I think the spots might be available now.
Yeah,
still too soon. I totally wish you well. This is how we cope.
Speaking of too soon and jokes, I'll tell you when we're done recording. Don't let me forget.
Okay.
No, he because he's the American guy, right?
Yeah.
So typically, I would never go to the States for anything work related.
Right. Yeah, he's got this.
But so it was kind of funny. Like I've never gone to anything that he's presenting, and I was able to just step in and take the event. We would have just
he couldn't step in. I'm kidding. I'm teasing. Let this not reflect poorly on Mark's bad friend choices.
Which, him or me?
Me.
Okay. Anyway, yeah. So
Wow.
knee-jerk reaction to the event, knee-jerk reaction to the trip, lack of knee-jerk reaction coming out of the water. Seemed applicable to share the story. My exciting
Man,
week.
That is exciting. That's it's actually like crazy, the timing.
Yeah.
Of you being present to kind of take care of some things while he went through this tragic ordeal. And getting something, it's one thing to be like, I was goofing around, I was going 160 miles an hour around Manoa Loa or whatever, and got into a car wreck or motorcycle wreck where you're being an idiot, but you're like, I'm having fun with my kids and playing in the surf, and the wave grabbed me, and now I'm got a broken neck.
I was out in the water a couple of times on that weekend.
Ridiculous.
On my day off, and it was a beach I've been to before. It was rough. Like, it was throwing you around, and lifeguards constantly on the loudspeakers telling people how to deal with the waves. But there's one in particular, because like when the waves are coming at you, you've been in and around big waves in Hawaii and whatever. You can either kind of dive into it, like under it, and it just kind of passes over you, or you ride it, or if it's not curving, you can kind of just float up with it and it passes. So it's kind of your three choices. But if you're at the wrong spot as it's curling over, right, you're just like quickly thinking, how do I handle this? So I was in this spot where
not good,
where I'm like, I would have kind of dove under it, but there was a person there, and that guy just got lifted straight up in front of me, just whoop, and I'm like, he's gonna, like, the whole wave is coming down on me, and that guy is gonna be just landing on
200
me.
pounds.
So under the water, being kind of spun. I'm not worried about the wave. I was in a good position. I was worried about the guy hitting me, and I'm just like hands around my head, like, he's coming down. Here it comes. And all of a sudden, I back up to the surface. Never saw the guy again.
Is he dead?
No, I don't know. I'm assuming it took him right to the sand, because I never saw him. He never hit me.
Sucked out to Bora Bora.
But it was pretty. People were out there in droves. It's not stopping anybody, but it was rough water. It didn't surprise me that someone could get thrown around to the point of injury.
I was in Hawaii with Kurt, and so we were trying to do body surfing, whatever. Kurt's fine, and it was like, you just got to break through that little crest of things to kind of get behind the wave so that you can choose a wave to go on. Yeah, about 15 minutes of being like a whale out in the water. Couldn't get under the water, and every time it was like,
it took you all the way
throw
back.
me down.
Big whale.
Bashing.
Never got past it.
The end. Beep. Well, we should probably get into where this knee-jerk reaction actually comes from.
You want to?
Let's do it. Let's find out a little bit.
I said some words. Where'd they go? Where'd they go? No one can know. I turned around and looked behind. Those words came from another mind. Origin.
I can actually tell, I'm looking into the screen here, that I got a little sun while away.
You got good color.
Yeah, got a little tan for how short of a
It's
visit it was.
no good being
Maybe it just helps being next to you.
white. I know, I'm anemically white. It's not good.
All right,
It's
well,
not healthy.
I'm sure you had a guess of where this idiom comes from.
It seems like there might be only one logical spot from an actual knee-jerk reaction with the patella tap.
Yep, that's exactly right. So medical interest in the knee-jerk reflex, we've all seen it, if not in real life, in cartoons, because it's a go-to, like tap the knee and kick yourself in the face. So the knee-jerk reflex began in about 1875 with...
My knees don't bend all the way over quite like that.
My knees, so I'm double jointed. My knees actually bend both ways.
That can't be good.
No, it sucks. Jogging, I'm kicking myself in the stomach every step.
Look like a Gumby doll.
Simultaneous yet independent publications around 1875. Wilhelm Heinrich Erb and Carl Friedrich Otto Westphal contended that the knee jerk was absent and the ankle clonus was present in all clear cases of locomotor ataxia. Locomotor ataxia. So physicians in medical communities in Europe, Great Britain, North America all responded with case and large group studies testing this whole thing. The knee jerk, apparently so simple, proved to be a complex phenomenon depending the strength of the strike on the patella. Now, patella, I looked up, It's just the kneecap. So they strike it just below the patella or the kneecap. But what was interesting about it is they were also trying to decide if they couldn't tell if it was independent of the brain. Like, is it a muscle reaction from the tap?
Like you can go to a corpse and do it?
Right.
Crazy.
So they were, I mean, I don't know about that extreme, but they were trying to test, like, is this a brain reaction to your leg being struck?
Like a comatose person or something?
Or is it a muscle reaction to that being struck? It's an old...
Okay.
It's got spinning wheels in the back. Some of our technology around here. It's like squirrels on a wheel. So yeah, was it a reflex with afferent and efferent nerves and an intervening process in the spinal cord, or was it a local phenomena confined to the muscle itself? So those are the kind of studies going on. And from then on, have you had it done just by the doctor? Yeah, they're testing reflexes and whatever. And so from the tendency of the knee to jerk involuntary when hit sharply, properly called the patellar reflex. That was recorded first by Sir Michael Foster in his textbook of physiology in 1877. This was his quote: "Striking the tendon below the patella gives rise to a sudden extension of the leg known as the knee jerk." So then the term began to be used figuratively around the early 20th century and onwards. Here's one. O.O. McIntyre in his New York day-by-day column in the Coshocton Tribune, October 1921, wrote, "Itinerant preacher stemming Broadway on a soapbox and gets only an occasional knee jerk." So this is the first recorded that we know of usage as it being used figuratively. So it went from medical practice, which was its own phenomenon at the time, which would have been interesting. Who discovered it? Like, why were they tapping the knee?
To be like,
I think it was just kids, or it was like one of those weird.
Exactly, it's got to be so
like
old.
Hit your funny bone, like you're sitting at the table and you hit and you're like, whoa, my leg jumped. It was probably accidental discovery of the knee jerk.
Remember doing it as kids, okay, let me do this. Watch this. The first time you discover it, and you're like tappity tap tap tap, and it's like, I didn't.
Well, the first time I discovered it, I'd seen it in cartoons 100 times, and I just thought it was one of those funny
Bugs Bunny things,
meme almost, like that's what they do. Until it was done to me, and I'm like,
that's
a real thing.
It needs better branding.
So I started trying everything I saw in cartoons.
I dropped an anvil on myself.
Turns out,
put
when
a
you
bottle
jump
of
off
rockets.
a cliff, your head doesn't stay stationary after your body's gone. You don't have time to write a sign saying, "Whoops,
Yikes,
hold it up." So yeah, it comes from the medical practice, turned figuratively pretty quickly. Because I think it's because the practice was such a widespread phenomenon that it became used in as an idiom. Because there's probably tons of medical things that are interesting that have never been, but it all happened simultaneously, almost around the world. This discovery of this patella reflex. That'd be a good band name, hey?
Patella reflex.
Patella reflex.
Maybe that's what the Duran Duran song is about.
The reflex.
Yeah. Is an involuntary response. It's underneath your patella.
Patella bridge.
Yep.
We have a patella bridge,
and there's a situation underneath it. So whatever. I did hear a funny one when I was looking, trying to find some material on the subject that had nothing to do with it, but it really struck me funny. It was, things with knees in them. And someone had suggested it would have been a fantastic name for like a body wash called Knees and Toes, and put out by Head and Shoulders.
Hilarious.
Yeah, so it's Head and Shoulders, Knees and Toes.
Maybe it should be a cream for eczema.
Yeah, there
Knees
you go.
and toes.
Yeah, like that is the funniest. Like, why don't
That is funny.
Like, they should just do that. Just any product. It doesn't even really matter.
Yeah, knees and toes.
Yeah, it's Head and Shoulders, Knees and Toes. That's amazing.
That is great.
Yeah, so because it had the word knees in it, it came up in my investigation, which just anyways cracked me up.
That's great.
Look for something. Well, that was a good little piece of info.
Yeah, so short and sweet, but was semi-interesting.
It is.
Yeah.
Well, if that's about that, we should probably jump into our little end bit here.
Oh, our game. Well, Riddle Link is a game we like to play that takes a two-part trivia-based question, requires a two It's a two-part trivia-based question that requires a two-part but overlapping answer, overlapping by syllable, word, or word. So, for example, let me give you an example. If you don't mind, I'm going to give you an example from last week. Our idiom was jumping off point, and you left everybody with, "We'll leap from this spot, shooting 0 feet from you." Do you remember your own? "We'll leap from this spot, shooting 0 feet from you."
It's jumping off point blank.
Yes, and I should have cut you off there because we actually had somebody send in the correct answer this week, and it was none other than Dangaleno, who hasn't been messaging us. We've been
It's good.
shouting out to him, and he's just ignoring us.
Wow.
So he sent in.
He's a busy man.
Oh, that's not
He's
true.
saving the world.
He said he sent in the answer, which was correct, and then he said, "Where's my stickers?" I forgot to mail them. Turns out, so
no.
I owe him stickers.
We'll get
So
on to that. We'll
yeah.
have our. Hey, yeah, write that down for the marketing. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So it's taken care of now.
Yeah, why was that on me anyway? That should be, I don't know, marketing team.
Sure. Yeah, we'll get the marketing team on that. Well, it's good.
So
Well,
that's how you play.
I've got a couple prepared.
Also,
Okay.
Beetlebat reached out again and sent me a link. Oh, I should have brought it. There's a card game called. I'll come back to it. But it's basically the card game is Riddlink. Like it's embarrassingly the same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
so
whatever.
we already talked about Wheel of Fortune having before and laughter. Mm-hmm. Now I'm trying to think of what this game was called. It's almost like catchphrase though, where they have so if they had jumping off point blank, they would have jumping off point at the top of the card and point blank at the bottom, and you got to say whatever you can to get your partner to say jumping off point blank.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, maybe we'll try and
should
get
see
the
if we
game.
can dig up
We'll
a
give
copy
them a
of it.
shout out. Yeah,
Absolutely.
for ripping off our game.
I've got it.
What happened to our music? Oh, it's there.
Okay, I got a couple. Here we go. Okay, what did I write here? Oh, that's not a good one. It's actually really
Did
hard.
you prepare ahead of time?
It's
or-
really hard. Okay, this one's really hard. Most popular Skyrim phrase is an involuntary patellospasm. Most popular Skyrim phrase is an involuntary patellospasm. It's really hard, but for those of you who are in the geeky vein of video games, Skyrim has one little
Take a
phrase.
knee-jerk reaction.
It's long, and it'll crack up like one person, and that's who I did it for.
All right,
Okay.
say it. I don't know what it is.
Okay. I used to be an adventurer like you, but then I took an arrow in the knee jerk reaction.
Oh man, that's a lot. I would have never.
I
got
used
that.
to be an adventurer like you, but then I took an arrow in the knee.
Wow.
Yeah, so if you ever hear that, took an arrow in the knee,
That's from.
it's from Skyrim. Yeah.
All right. Well, I don't have that one. We didn't have duplicates today.
Is very niche.
Let's see if you can get this one. This fancy word for kneecap is the queen of jazz.
Tell them again.
This fancy word for kneecap is the queen of jazz.
The legitimate children. That is Patella Fitzgerald.
That's right.
Okay, good. That was a good one. That was way better. Mine is garbage. Okay.
It's just difficult. It's for
an uncontrolled response with a fast response.
knee-jerk reaction, action.
An uncontrolled response with a fast response.
So interested. Is it reaction or action?
Reaction.
With a fast response. Reactionary. Reaction face.
Like
Knee-jerk reaction. Reaction Jackson.
I press the button, and how fast you can press the button after I press the button is your
Reaction response.
it's reaction time.
Reaction time. So knee-jerk reaction time.
Yep.
Got it. Yes.
Feel good. Knee-jerk reaction time.
Okay, I got one more, but why don't we leave it dangling out there?
Okay, Village Idiom children, we'd love to hear from you on this one. And you can reach out to us on Instagram at the.village.idiom or email us thevillageidiompodcast@gmail.com, or whether it's the Facebooks, the YouTubes, or the Twitters at 3 Minutes Gone.
I think this one's pretty straightforward. I think everyone will enjoy it. This is how it goes. This immediate reaction is the nerdy character in Family Matters. This immediate reaction is the nerdy character in Family Matters.
There you go. It's a good one. And that's 3 minutes gone.
Nicely done. Nicely done.
That's good, man. It's fun putting all that together. Hopefully your knee-jerk reaction wasn't to switch over to a different podcast. I'm Skitty.
I'm Jurassic Park.
And these are
I just thought we'd have one more little clip of that.
And these are still the Village Idioms.
All right, sorry about that.
That's 3 minutes gone.